here we go, hour 2. This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, we are live in beautiful Los Angeles on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Joy Taylor is joining me. She got that spring look, that Hollywood spring look today, jumping off the TV screen. So obviously, right now, draft is over. Next 2 months are heavy NBA as we're watching the great dynasty, one of the 2 or 3 best teams of my lifetime, the Warriors, play. I think they're the greatest offensive team I've ever seen in my life. I thought the Showtime Lakers were second. I thought Michael Jordan's Bulls were the best team and the best defensive team I've ever seen. Length, toughness, all that stuff. There's been 4 or 5 great teams in my life. The Warriors are certainly one of them. I'm not sure if they translate to bygone eras, whatever. I still think they'd be really good. I think in a hand-check era, Steph would not be quite as dominant. But, there's a narrative out there. I think the media, and let me just talk a little media and some fans. What's best for the league is not best for Kevin Durant. Does everybody realize Kevin Durant staying is the best for Kevin Durant? Because then he wins 2 more titles. Nobody's ever done that. Nobody's ever been the MVP 4 straight times, won 4 straight titles. Nobody's done it. Okay, Shaq and MJ, I think, have done the 3 thing. They haven't done the 4 thing. So that's the best for him. If you want to get into the GOAT conversation. Well, Colin, he's got to prove it that he can do it on his own. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Michael Jordan was 1-9 without Pippen. We don't hold it against him. Michael Jordan washed out in Washington. We don't hold it against him. We don't hold it against Kobe that in between Shaq and Gasol, he was on a horrible team. We do not hold it against superstars. We don't hold it against LeBron his first 7 years in the league. He didn't have an all-star. That's nonsense. We don't hold that against him. People are confusing what's best for Kevin Durant, staying and winning titles and being the MVP, and what's best for the league. There's a lot of winners if Kevin Durant leaves. Let's list them. The Houston Rockets. Yeah, if they don't have to go through Golden State, the Houston Rockets, Daryl Morey, Chris Paul, James Harden win the championship. It's a big benefit for Houston that KD leaves, and they know it, and they'd admit it. It's great for the New York Knicks. They've been a dead franchise for 20, 25 years. It's fantastic for the New York Knicks. By the way, it's great for LeBron James. He's now, not flying coach, and that's what he's flying right now in the West. He's flying coach. He's not first class. He's not business class. He can't get into the playoffs. It's great for LeBron if the Warriors break up and KD goes east. It's great for the NBA. Parity returns to the NBA. We'll have 7 really good teams, not 1 great one, and 6 others playing for the runner-up trophy. I think it's good for the viewers. Ratings were down this year. I think there is a fatigue factor because it's not that Golden State is just the best team. It mostly doesn't feel like it's that close. And also the Eastern Conference would win. A lot of people out east. Most of the American population, like 65%, is east of the Mississippi. It would be nice if the Eastern Conference isn't a speed bag for the Warriors. So there's 6 different winners minimum if Kevin Durant leaves. The Rockets, the Knicks, LeBron, the league, the viewers, the Eastern Conference. Don't confuse what's good for all those people for what's good for Kevin Durant. All right. Okay, because he absolutely cares, and he has said it before. Let's believe him. Let's take him at his word. It does bother him that the world loves LeBron and overlooks him. He's called media people Nick Wright fanboys. You guys love LeBron. It's there. It bothers him. So you're not getting to the GOAT, and I don't think he'd ever be called the GOAT, but you're not in the conversation if you go to the Knicks and wash out. Never forget, Michael didn't do anything before Pippen, and we've never held it against him. He didn't do it on his own. He didn't do crap on his own. And he didn't do anything in Washington when he only had Rip Hamilton. He didn't do crap in D.C. on his own, and we've never held it against him. And we've never held it against Kobe that in between Shaq and Gasol, he didn't do anything. He couldn't beat Phoenix in the playoffs. We've never held it against Kobe. We're not going to hold it against Kevin Durant if he doesn't go to the Knicks. If he stays with the Warriors, MVP of the finals 4 straight years, you will not be able to mention the GOAT conversation and not put him in it. So I think a lot of people are confusing what's good for him, what's good for business, and don't kid yourself. And the other thing to remember is that the NBA, more than any league in America, is a star-driven league. The NFL is kind of a system league. Hockey's got a tight salary cap. It's about goalies in the playoffs. Baseball's about pitching staffs and bullpens and analytics. The two sports in the world that are really about stars: soccer, Messi, Ronaldo, NBA. So let's think of the one business that's not an athletic business that's also star-driven. Hollywood. Do you hold it against Marlon Brando that he was in 7 Bombs? No. Do you hold it against Robert De Niro that he was in a movie with Zac Efron? No. Do you hold it against Will Smith that he hasn't been in a hit movie, I don't know, in years? You don't. We never, 20 years later, hold it against stars. We don't hold the bombs against Brando. Or the fact that De Niro is doing stuff with Zac Efron. Or Will Smith hasn't had a hit in years. On the tombstone, we don't mention that. We don't mention the Wizards with MJ, or the 1 and 9 with Pippen, or the between Shaq and Gasol with Kobe. We don't even mention that Charles Barkley played in Philadelphia. It's all television Charles, funny Charles, and Phoenix Charles. So I just don't buy that. I mean, you go look at Robert Downey's career. Folks, Robert Downey's career was disappointment, discouraging, drugs, arrests. Tombstone's going to say Iron Man. That's how we treat stars. We don't care that Johnny Unitas came out west or Joe Namath was limping at the end. We don't care. He played for the Rams. Nobody cares. It's not the way it works. And, I just don't think Kevin Durant having to, quote, prove he can do it on his own. No. I don't think that's going to be held against him. We don't hold it against Messi, Ronaldo, Durant. We don't hold it against movie stars when they're in bombs. It just gets washed away. And I think that will get washed away. By the way, so I had dinner with a, how could I put this? High-powered NFL executive last night. And we were talking about the draft. And we were talking about teams. And it's funny how it sort of works with teams. So I'm talking to this NFL executive last night at dinner. And I threw some theories at him. And I've said this before. I think the Colts have a chance to be the next Patriots. There are certain traits. Good with personnel, smart, thoughtful, culture-building, resourceful, right GM, right quarterback, and also, let's be honest, right division. Andrew Luck's 25-7 against his division. There's been some rebuilding during it. They feel like the steadiest ship in the waters in the AFC South. And I think, this is not a knock on the Patriots, but it does help. They've been the least chaotic team in their division. And you got to win your division. And if you can go 5-1 or 4-2 in your division, that's a big advantage that the Chiefs and the Chargers, they're going to split a lot of games. Denver's going to get a quarterback and get it right. And so I was talking to the executive last night, and one of the teams he liked that wasn't his own was, he said, listen, the Colts are they're really good. They're just going to be really good for a decade. And I think it all starts with Andrew Luck and their GM, Chris Ballard, who was named Executive of the Year last year, and he is joining us via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network, one of my favorite guys in the NFL.